Yeah, it was really nice. When we all left, nobody there. 6 people in the whole room. But they but it was just like one of those 6:30. And I was walking out the door, and they did you know open public meeting and had to leave. Brought it in.
I can hear that.
I'll be at.
Okay.
Just to get everybody's attention.
Campus has just gotten, it's so much going on. We don't know what's going on a regular basis. If it's not happening in my direct area.
Yep.
At the
Mike,
same time,
we're good. We're doing the other way so the board.
Exactly. You don't want to
it's
exactly.
too much.
We're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Adequate notice has been given this meeting as required by law. Notice has been reported for publication in district official newspapers, posted in the Apsagamie, Cedar Creek, and Oakcrest high schools, and forwarded to all the clerks of the municipalities within this school district. There are 2 opportunities to address the members of the board. The board values and welcomes comments and opinions from residents as long as remarks are not personal or discourteous. The public comment portion of the meeting allows the board to listen to community members and to hear their opinions on school policy and operations. The first public portion is reserved for persons wishing to speak about agenda items only. The second opportunity following the action items when residents may address the board on any school-related issue. Each speaker is asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes, and you're not permitted to yield your time to another. The public comment portion of the meeting during both sessions will not exceed 30 minutes. Upon being recognized, persons wishing to speak should stand and identify themselves by name and town.
Please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I ask for a moment of silence? Roll call.
Edmonds? Garrison?
Here.
Gunther?
Here.
Hartman?
Here.
Hassa?
Here.
Curli,
Here.
Sartorio?
Here.
Wright?
Here.
Howe?
Here.
Motion is approved. We have a quorum.
Okay, getting ahead here. Okay, today we have the reorganization agenda first. I didn't need a motion for the agenda with items A through FF.
I move
Pages
A
2
through
through
F,
9.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I move A through FF.
I'll second that.
Okay, letters A through FF on pages 2 through 9 have been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on these items? Okay, roll call.
Garrison?
Yes.
Gunther?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Hassa? Curli,
Yes.
Sartorio?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Howe?
Recuse myself on D and O number 1, and everything else, yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the regular part of the meeting. So I need a motion to approve the minutes found on page 10.
So moved.
Second.
The minutes from April 20th have been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, or corrections on these minutes?
Gunther?
Yes.
Hartman?
Abstain.
Hassa?
Yes.
Curli,
Yes.
Sartorio?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Garrison?
Abstain.
Howe?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay, we have some special presentations tonight.
We do. The first presentation I'll ask Mr. Manning to call up is the Oakcrest girls lacrosse team.
So we have had a really great spring season so far here at Oakcrest, all of our sports teams. But the team that I kind of wanted to highlight today is our girls lacrosse team. So if you look at your agenda, I think it's agenda item 10, you will see something in there about Morgan's message and all three schools' girls lacrosse teams. So I wanted to bring a couple of our players, and they just are fresh from a win over at Aspen today. So if they're a little smelly, that's why. With their coaches, they are going to tell you a little bit about Morgan's message, and I'm just going to be a little word and kind of tell you what they're all about. So Abigail Ranger is going to do the speaking. Senior Abigail Ranger.
Hi, so my name is Abigail Ranger, and I'm accompanied by Bridget Greer and Madison Carlin. And I'd like to just shout out Bridget because she got her 100th goal at our game today. Oakcrest and Absegami dedicated Friday, April 17th game to the unseen battles athletes face. Morgan Rogers, a former Duke University lacrosse student athlete, died tragically in July 2019 after battling mental health struggles. Although Morgan's life was cut way too short, her legacy of unconditional love remains. Morgan's message was created by her family and former teammates with the mission to eliminate the stigma surrounding mental health, normalize the conversations about mental health, and ensure that mental health is treated equally to physical health for all student athletes. While this is a large in girls lacrosse world, it has expanded to other sports as well. They set up ways for schools to have Morgan's message chapters to allow students the ability to come together and hold a space to acknowledge the unseen battles and work together to combat them. As a community, we pledge to check in on our teammates and to reach out when we need help ourselves. We took a moment to acknowledge the people in our own Oakcrest family and community who we have lost to these battles. It was a very competitive game that ultimately ended in Oakcrest winning, but the message of the game was felt by us all and is something we can continue to take into all aspects of our lives. Thank you.
I was just looking around to see if usually somebody raises their hand. Yes, Ms. Hassa.
So I mean, anybody who knows me knows that my life is basically mental health and suicide prevention, and I think that this is incredible what you guys are doing, especially in the athletic world. Specifically when we look at our student athletes, they're not willing to speak up and say, hey, there's something going on without somebody looking at them and being like, toughen up, come on, push it through. So this is an incredible thing that you guys are doing, and I think you're doing leadership. And just your compassion and empathy for your fellow teammates. I just want to applaud you for your effort. You know, I just want to say thank you, really.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted, I think that the board as a whole is very, and that, everybody in the school really cares about mental health. So to see somebody take it on and like further the cause and be able to share it with more people and support it, it's, there's nothing you could really be doing that would make us any prouder of what you're doing right now. So thank you for being on the team and doing so well and supporting this, representing our school, but thank you for taking this on and sharing with us because it's important.
Thank you.
Great.
Congrats. Thank you, girls.
Yeah, congratulations.
This is completely athlete driven. The girls that play this, the coaches that are advocating for this, do not come from administration at all. This is them. We did our Death Day 2 weeks ago. I think it was 280 some dollars or something like that we donated to Morgan's message from the athlete staff. So very, very cool stuff. Especially when they're not in grade right now. So good things all around girls across the next, right?
Yep.
Is we get to share with you guys our teacher of the year and our educational professional of the year. We should probably do the educational professional of the year so we can get this guy. happy to be here. So our first one will be our educational professional here, Ms. Ashley Pro, who pulled the ultimate flex Friday when we were at the Atlantic County luncheon for all the teachers of the year and educational professionals in all of Atlantic County. And we were sitting at the table, all the greater area teachers were all there, and Ashley says, well, the last time I was here. Oh my gosh. This is Ashley's second time winning this award. I think it was like 10 years ago? 5 years ago? Yeah. So, which is just a testament to how good she really is. I don't want to take any more of Ms. Williams' thunder. Here to bring around is Ms. Angela Williams.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to recognize Ashley Perrone as our Educational Service Professional of the Year for the 25-26 school year. So I wrote a little bit about our experience this year and why Ashley received this award. Ashley is an outstanding counselor. She is my technology guru. She is my spreadsheet queen. She's the early college room credit expert. And she's my memory when I'm suffering from brain fog. Brain fog passion. She exemplifies everything that the standards of our profession. Her eyes are dotted, her T's are crossed. One thing that I thought was that you really should know is a parent wrote in about Ashley and was part of the nomination. Ashley had a student who was school avoidant, anxiety, and this young man did not want to come to school. Ashley worked with him over and over again, supported mom, supported the young man. His 9th grade year, he missed 51 days of school. When he would come to school, he would sit in Ashley's office. She would try and get him out, encourage him. Just go for a little while, and then come back if you need to. Supporting mom. His 10th grade year, he missed 35 days. His 11th grade year, he missed 17 days. This year, he's a senior, he missed 3 days. He's going to Rowan to be a teacher. His mom is the one who wrote the letter to get Ashley nominated for Education Service Professional of the Year. So that speaks volumes on what Ashley does and the impact she has on her students, the community, and the family. I am super excited that as I retire, that she is going to be taken over for me because I know that it's a seamless transition. She's been here as a student, an intern, and now the counselor, and now the supervisor. So I want to congratulate you. I'm super happy for you. I'm super proud of you. And I just wish you so much success in everything you do for the next 20 years in this position.
But I just want to say thank you. It's an honor to receive this award. If anyone wonders how I pivot so quickly in situations, it's thanks to these three and always chasing them around. So again, thank you for allowing me to do this job, and I'm looking forward to the next step.
Congrats. Why don't we put the Falcons behind you?
All right, Karen. Oh, good, we don't move. Oh.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
This year, our teacher of the year is Mr. Vincera. And again, I'm not going to take too much of this large thunder. I see she has something prepared. She's very working on it diligently this morning. I can tell you that I can remember 20 years ago, I remember in the middle of a lifeguard race, throwing a doubles race, and looking across and seeing the brigantine boat, seeing Vincera. I remember when I came here 20 years later, the guy was insane. Because I put on 50 pounds, and he still looks great. He's one of the best dressed guys in the entire building. He's been a great mentor teacher to a lot of teachers in the building, particularly his department. But again, I don't want to much of our here, so I'll let her introduce Mr. Sarah.
Good evening. It's my honor to introduce Oakcrest High School's Teacher of the Year, Mr. Vincera. As a supervisor, I see his impact every day. But what makes this recognition especially meaningful is that it's echoed so strongly by his colleagues and students. Those who nominated Mr. Sarah described him as an exceptional mentor who builds genuine relationships with students and creates a classroom grounded in consistency, structure, and respect. They highlight his ability to de-escalate challenging situations, communicate regularly with families, ensure every student feels supported and capable of success. His colleagues also spoke about his willingness to go above and beyond, not only for his students, but for the entire staff. Whether it's helping with lesson planning, assessments, or school events, Mr. Sarah is always someone who you can count on. Even more impressive, considering his responsibilities outside of school, yet his commitment to Oakcrest never wavers. Perhaps the most powerful are the words of his students, who credited him with not only improving their academic performance, but shaping their motivation, confidence, and outlook on the future. Mr. Sarah truly represents the best of our profession. It's with great pride that I present Mr. Vincera.
Thank you so much for the nomination. Thank you for the kind words. But I say it's an absolute honor to have the opportunity to work here. I've been here in the district for 19 years. It's funny. I remember in my interview, I was interviewing with Jerry Lynn Gaddon. And in the interview, she looks at me and she goes, "Where else have you applied?" And proudly, I'm like, "Nowhere." She's like, "What if this doesn't work out for you?" And I remember my heart dropped and I looked at her and I said, "Honestly, at this moment, I never considered working anywhere else. I had researched a bunch of schools and I knew I wanted to. There's an incredible staff, lots of support, and probably one of the best things and my most favorite performances. Like, you give me an award for being the teacher of the year, but really the award is getting to work and do what I do every day with people that I love. And I will tell you, there is nothing, no reasonable request that I have made that this district and this board has not supported. You know, one of the things I think that a lot of people really feel lacking in the job force is being supported and feeling like they matter. I have never felt that one day in my life. I'm very proud of everything that this board does. I'm very proud of the administration. And most of all, I'm very proud of you. So thank you very much for the time.
Yeah.
Just before we take the picture, being an old social studies teacher myself, the compliment I will give Vince is he finds a way to connect with every single kid sitting in his classroom. When we've had conversations about shifting curriculum or shifting issues within the building, Vince always returns us and brings us back to what is the student perspective going to be and how is this going to impact in a classroom. And keeping that student-centered focus is really supposed to be at the core of what we all do. So Vince, thank you for always maintaining that heading. Thank you.
go slide over a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. That's what I'm going to
Look, no one's here for your budget. We should just cancel it.
You're going to miss the good part.
Where'd your audience go?
They got Marshall Stewart.
And I wait until he's locked up and he's still going.
I don't know why we're leaving.
I know, right? Exactly, you know?
And now the moment you've all been waiting for.
Are they really?
Yeah, I got them.
Caitlin, you might be in a spotlight. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I'm trying to shoot the pointer at you. Good evening, everyone. This is the annual budget hearing presentation of the annual budget for 26-27. Some of our budget challenges we talk about each year, land accounting technology, we are budgeting 598 students next year. That is up from 549 the current year. So you know we have this year and we're looking up. So this is what we look like next year. Our total budget with that transportation adjustment is $2,044,000. That is actually down from last year due to the fact that tuition adjustment came back to us this year. We didn't really raise the tuition for the students. Other budget challenges are charter tech. We are budgeting 20 students for charter tech this year. That's not the same number of students last year. The total budget of 523 is about $53,000 more than we have to pay this program. Average tuition cost per student at charter tech is $23,177. Our tuition rate is 26.7 to $3,000. SBA assessment, we talk about this every year. This is the assessment we have put on for the building of Security High School. When we built the school, we were given this amount of money, $2 for every dollar we put in, but then we got that later, we get 15% portion this year for interest. So we've been paying $611,000 every year. Right now, our total balance is $8,986,000. The budget highlights, continuous Chromebooks for all students, free breakfast for all students. The project we started many years ago and it's a great thing for our students. Student pantries are in each building. We increased funds in each of the last few years, but we maintain our offering this year in the budget issues. The land tier 1 is at Academy Student Creek, near Oakcrest Student Center. Previously grant funded. We have ESS tier 2 programs providing individual group and family counseling, trauma, addiction, and loss. These programs allow us to reduce out-of-district placements and focus on summer remediation prep program and summer research. We continue with our leasing of equipment. I think this is year 11. We're doing the 5-year leases that keep rolling over. We have new Chromebooks, technology infrastructure, new buildings and ground equipment, also highlighting this year. Staffing, we have a reduction of some positions when the authority has been handled with attrition. Budget for transition of regional learning academy for an in-house program, which we talked about. Software upgrades for increasing our coverage for the GEHRHSD software. Remember that's the software that can pick up a fire alarm, the camera system that we have. Continue to realize potential justice for the applications. For the 50 million license code supervisor, and we have new door and building management. Good upgrades, you know, we're going to replace the Oakcrest floor. That should be completed by this. Referendum. Hopefully, this will be the last year. This will be the slide. We're slowly closing things out. Most of you see these things now to say completed. Concession stand work should be finished by this summer. Auditorium upgrades laid down to the final punch list phase. So state aid fund is 46.7. Our state aid general fund is 44 million, 382,000. There's 42,273,000 last year, an increase of 2.1 million or 4.99%. Our debt service fund, 80, is 1,275,000. We went like 291 last year, which went down by 15,000. That's basically due to the fact that our total debt service went down. So that's corresponding with debt service savings. Our budget is broken up into three spots: general fund, that's basically our everyday budget; special revenue fund, which is our federal and state grants, IDA, and other federal grants; and our debt service fund is that funding I talked about, pays for all the debt service. General fund is 88,446,000. Special revenue is 1,463,000. Debt service is 4,600,000. The full budget is 26,47,000, 94,500,000. On the spending side, the general fund is made up of current expense, capital outlay, that 88 million we talked about is the current expense. All the operations, schools, salaries, books, materials, maintenance, facilities, $87,310,000. Capital outlay, which is made up of the facility and the SBA assessment, is $11,902, and our charter school tuition, plus that earlier. Again, fund 20, which is the federal state project, and 1,463,000, that's their 4 million. This is our high charge type, the exercise. Obviously, we're a service business, the salary makes up 43.10% of our budget. That's the biggest, the highest benefit, 50% of our budget, followed by out-of-district tuition, transportation, the big IDC. Facilities is up there at 5 million, which is 6.14%. And then you see that there, that way. Revenue side of it, our fund balance, that is the amount of money that we have after our budget is finished, it rolls into the fund balance. We use that fund balance for next year's budget, but we also keep about 1.8 million in our fund balance just for operating missions. Grade, we budgeted maintenance reserve, funds of our project, $173,000. Local sources, we get all the local taxes, tuition, transportation fees, 41,088,000. State sources, which is all those savings we talked about earlier, as well as permanent aid, 45,450,000. And setting special education initiative, 3,000. So again, a total general fund is 88,400,000. So again, we go further. Again, we talk about the expenditure side, now the revenue side for fund 20 for the state grants, is 1,063,000 again. We have no more fund balance in debt service, so that was zero this year. Our debt service tax levy is 3,350,000. Debt service fee, 1,275,000. Again, our total budget is 94,500,000. This is the pie chart now on the revenue side. Biggest source now is our state sources, 48%. Our local sources, if you remember, we always used to have the same range of a little more state and local, but in 2010, when the government proposed state aid, it started growing the other way. Our local sources started to get higher. So the last few years, it's been actually were, and our state sources now more than local. This is the allocation of tuition expense. This goes back to 2000, 2001, which was 2 years after I started here. So keep going out with this graph each year. We had a couple high years, 18, 19, 20. Also programs back in 13 to 14 that are 23, 24 to help us out. And again, this year we're down a little bit. So we had a good year on the revenue side, on the expense side of it. So we're starting to control the tuition levels. Comparison again with the budget for this year to last year. 26, 27, again, 88, 46. revenue is down 25%. This is basically due to the fact that the county office recommended we let 75% of what we have per year, just to be conservative. Hopefully that number will go up and get our final items in those grants. That service fund I mentioned earlier was down $86,000. We're getting a full budget down $2,985,000. This is where we get into who are the quote-unquote winners and losers when we have our constituent districts paying their taxes. This is the equalized valuation that decides what percentage of the load the municipality pays for taxes. As you can see, Oakcrest City now has 4.13% of responsibility. Last year was 4.32%. Galvin County has 51.24% responsibility. It was 50.51%. Hamilton 45.82 was 45.76, and Mulligan 8.79 was 9.79. So you can see Mulligan and Oakcrest City are seeing the benefits of the reallocation this year. Galvin County is the one who has the most responsibility increase. And Hamilton County is basically the state of what we do. And this is how the calculation of state of New Jersey gives us the calculation. This is how they come up with it. They take the equalized valuation of all municipalities. They look at the enrollment on the elementary side, the enrollment on the regional side, and they come up with what percentage of those kids are regional students. That comes up. We multiply column A with column B, we come up with a regional equalized valuation. That's where they get the percentage. It's calculated again by New Jersey business taxation. It includes true value of real property, value of second real property, and assessed value of locally assessed. This is basically a tool that measures the wealth of your tax. Another part of it that plays into how much tax you pay is assessed value. You see Oakcrest City assessed value this year went up to 3.1 million, or 4 million, or 1.53%. Galway Township went up to 26,755,000, just under 1%. Hamilton County actually saw a decrease of $32 million in assessed value, down 1.6%, and August all increased to $2.7 million. So this is the impact on general fund. Just general is not that good. Oakcrest City will see a decrease in the general fund taxes of $6,365. An increase of 1.47%. Galway Township is seeing an increase of $1,099,000, or an increase of 3.2%. Hamilton Township is seeing an increase of $602,000, or an increase of 4.01 cents, and Mulligan is seeing an increase of $76,400, or an increase of 2.01. So if you look at assessed value of $100,000 home, that will be the effect that goes down the year, month, or day. And you see the total tax increase for federal fund is $1.6 million, or 4.39% over the last. On the debt service side, as I mentioned earlier, the debt service go down 70,000. Oakcrest City is seeing a decrease of just under half, just more than a half a penny. Galway County sees a decrease of a tenth of a penny. Hamilton County sees a decrease of 200 of a penny, and Mulligan County sees a decrease of over a half. The total debt service decrease for this year is 2.03. Add those two up, Oakcrest City sees a decrease of 1.7 cents, or $16,000. Galway goes up $1,088,000, or 3.14%. Hamilton is going up $579,000, or 3.99 cents, and Mulligan sees a decrease of $100,000. The total budget tax levy is increasing $1,539,000, 3.85%. Class of 25 received $24.4 million in academic merit scholarships. These are some of the schools that we see. We have Second Food, 25, we have Princeton, Cornell, University of Penn, Cornell, Yale, Marcus, a lot of big names up here. No other teams up there, which is very good. Fans placement. We have 15 districts, 18 football leagues, 18 in Academy, 15 in 15, 17 in Oakcrest. We've got the option to take the fans placement thing, dual credit enrollment, dual credit offers, 29 dual credit courses with Atlantic Cape Community College, 9 dual credit courses with Darwin College, Hamilton County, with 2 dual credit courses with Steve Hall, and 26 dual credit courses with Scott. We have articulation agreements allowing students to earn 3 college credits, Atlantic Cape Community College, culinary arts, culinary security management, hardware 1, hospital, calculus, community college, which is environmental management. This is receiving free tuition stock, the students receive free reduced lunch, receive money with ACCC to pay for this students to have to save free reduced lunch. We also have the early college program. Stockton University has a grade plus 3 program. Students attending this program will have the opportunity to complete their bachelor's degree in 3 years after high school. And with Atlantic Cape Community College, students will receive the high school diploma and associate degree in studies from early college graduates, students receive the associate degree in general studies from ACC in May of 21st this year. 5 students in Oakcrest, 3 students in Academy, and 5 students. We have 84 varsity sports, and one of our schools, and one of our I'd like to thank James, especially, and Jen, for help with the budget, and the board of trustees for their continued support. I think our budget process runs very smoothly and well-oiled through the support that we all get, especially in our office. Anyone have any questions?
I do. You briefly showed the pie chart of the allocation for the budget. Can you give the percentage increase this year over last year for the benefits?
This year's benefit, we don't have it finalized yet. When we put this budget together for presentation, that increase we look for students in the first 20, look to have it finalized very shortly. Not only our broker, but our solicitor, and negotiator.
I just want the general public to know that the increase in benefits was what really gave us a little bit of a challenge this year to get this budget to where it's at. And by the way, you and your staff do an excellent job at this, but I want everyone to know, I mean, it's across the state of New Jersey this is going on. And, when you see districts decreasing staff by 100 people, 60 people, 30 people, we're not at that level because of how good we handle our budget, but I just want to make sure that, the general public knows that these benefits are through the roof, and it's a struggle for us, so I'm just.
We've had the benefit over the last 5 years, not to be in a situation that last school districts have been in, with the hardware approach to get.
Yes.
Renewal from 0 to under 5% for the last 5 years.
Yep.
This has happened. We have a couple of high claims that are affecting us this year. We're trying to work outside the box in different ways to keep this down. So you'll see state health benefits like every school district is off to the county.
Yep.
And that's even our constituents.
Thank you.
So I know the flag bar right now is 15.10, 12% budgeted. We will be moving some money back and forth between salaries and health benefits. So that's another way.
Thank you.
Well, then I would just like to officially open to the public hearing on the budget. Anyone from the public have any comments? I would like to close the public hearing.
Thanks, Tom.
Over.
You don't want the picture with Marge and Carol? Tom, no, I lost.
Mike's head over there,
I
bro.
didn't know if Tom wanted his picture with you and Marge.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Of course.
Before I move on, I just want to take a minute to say thank you to Tom, all his staff, and everybody that worked with him. I know James, I'm sure a lot of other people within the district did, but every year your staff does a great job. That's why we rarely have to worry about when the auditors come. But for this year, especially when there's so many challenges, we know that you're trying to do everything you can to keep everything in place for the school and for the students and trying to keep it reasonable for the taxpayers. So thank you very much. Okay, I see no committee reports, so I'll move to board member reports. I'm going to start with the students. I'm going to start with Sophia since we're at Oakcrest tonight.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. So today, AP testing has started for our bio students, so they had their test like first thing in the morning. Our band concert is this Thursday, May 7th. Our freshman orientation is on May 13th at 6 in the afternoon. On May 15th, Absegami is having their second annual Champions Day for our Region Harp program. And finally, Absegami is hosting a color run on May 31st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Thank you. Did I say the wrong school?
Yeah, that's okay.
I apologize. I wrote it down wrong, my fault. Okay, how about I go to the end? Francesca? Did I say your name right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, thank you.
In sports, baseball qualified for the Diamond Classic. Girls flag won their conference for the fourth year in a row. Boys lacrosse plays Oakcrest tomorrow for the conference champs. And girls lax had a game today against Lower Cape May, which determines if they make it to Cows. Our tennis team just won Cows, and our sophomore Miguel Manolang is our two-time undefeated Cal champ. Our performing arts had a very successful spring with a sold-out dance show along with choir and band. Also, one of our sophomores, Jordan Miller, made it to the all-state choir. In April, the juniors took the SATs, which showed improvement from the PSATs in October. At this very moment, we are preparing for the AP testing. The students have done a good job on preparing themselves for the upcoming exams, which leads me to believe that we are very prepared for what the next 2 weeks will bring. Our prom will be hosted May 21st, 6 p.m. at the Carriage House, and the theme is Sunset Soiree. After that, the school year is coming to an end, and our graduation will be hosted June 18th. Thank you.
Thank you. And Caitlin.
So we had our recent dance concert last Thursday. It was lots of fun, lots of energy, and lots of talent. Biomedical Magnet went to Drexel Medical School, where we basically learned about the body systems by looking at cadavers, and I guess it's just donated deceased people if you didn't know that. And we also talked to Drexel Med students to ask about their student life. Girls track is 4-1, and counties was tonight at EHT. And I believe boys track is undefeated. NHS had spring day of service. I went to the Egg Harbor City cleanup, but there's also another spring day of service next week, which is for the Green Fair and the Carnival, which I'll talk about in a second. Boys lacrosse is 8-3, and they played Absegami today. And girls lacrosse is now 9-3, we heard from Abby. And they also played Absegami today. And softball is 8-5. And senior Bruce Belace is going to sectional championships for golf. And upcoming, we have the Green Fair this Saturday at Oakcrest, which is basically where local store vendors come, and there's lots of environmental themed stores and plants and flowers and stuff. And the Hamilton Township Resource Fair is this Saturday from 10 to 1 at Hess, which is basically for kids to like have fun, play games, paint their faces, and that's also assisted by NHS. And the Green Fair is from 10 to 1. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. Okay, any other board members have anything to add under board member reports? Yes, Masasa.
On May 16th, there will be the delegate assembly, and immediately after the delegate assembly will be the session for, they're going to start mentors out of certified teachers to be able to pair up with board members coming in on a regular basis. So basically, you would have mentorship and support outside of your district. Outside of your sport. So I have volunteered to be part of that great digital mentorship initiative. And so we've gone through one initial training at conference in October. This will be the first meeting of all of us in the process of kind of getting her started.
Cool. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, at this time, I'll open the meeting up to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on agenda items only? Okay, seeing none. I'll move on to business agenda action items.
Business items B1 through B11 can be found on pages 11 through 13.
I'll make a motion to move B1 through B11, pages 11 to 13.
Second.
Okay, B1 through B11 have been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on these business items?
Hartman,
Yes.
Asa,
Yes.
Kurlai,
Yes.
Sartorio,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Garrison,
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
House.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Transportation agenda action item?
I move T1 through T13.
Second.
Okay, T1 through T13 have been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on these transportation items?
Asa,
Yes.
Kurlai,
Yes.
Sartorio,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Garrison,
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
House.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay, education agenda items?
I move E1 through E15. 15.
Second.
Okay, E1 through E15 have been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on these education items? Roll call.
Kurlai,
Yes.
Sartorio,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Garrison,
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Asa,
Yes.
House.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay. Personnel agenda?
I'll move P1 through P12.
Second.
Okay, P1 through P12 have been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on these personnel items?
I have a correction on P5. The school should be Cedar Creek, not Oakcrest.
Okay, with those corrections, any questions, comments? Roll call.
Sartorio,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Garrison,
Yes.
Gunther,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Asa,
Yes.
Kurlai,
Yes.
House.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay. Mr. Reyna?
Thank you. Quick update on the gym floor here at Oakcrest. We have passed a 2-week period of letting the concrete sit open. They were soliciting readings from the air as far as moisture. So we should be getting updates from our architect within the next 24 to 48 hours. But that is another milestone in this project complete, letting it air for 2 weeks and move forward from that. So that's a plus. That's one more thing that we kind of needed to get on the other side of. I was fortunate enough last week, I did the Creek Choir concert and the Oakcrest dance concert. I'll get you guys updates from here through graduation. As you know, every spring it gets busy. There's a lot of performing arts stuff going on. The one thing I will share, because it had been a topic of ongoing conversation with the sound system here at Oakcrest. In my 25 years in and around this building, we have the clearest sound system we have ever had. What I heard at the dance show last week was far superior. You know, if you remember, we were supposed to be done, but then we had some concerns. Even with the spring drama performance, there were some questions with the sound. They've come back in twice and made some more modifications to it. And I will say that it kind of reminded me of when I was 16 or 17 and I spent way too much money on my car stereo. It was that kind of a feeling in the pack. And obviously the dancers were great and the Creek Choir kids were phenomenal as always. But I have to admit, the biggest sigh that night, I was kind of like, oh, thank God, we got the sound system figured out, because it's been a bit of a journey. Freshman orientations, believe it or not, are coming now that we are here in May. Over the next couple of weeks, the 8th graders and their families will be coming to the buildings. A lot of you have seen this before. Tomorrow, I'll get the exact dates and times from the principals. I'll shoot you an email over the next couple of weeks if anybody wants to swing by one night. It's a nice night. Some version or some variation of about half an hour in the Performing Arts Center, kind of an overview of what to expect this summer from us, what to expect next fall when you become a student, and then an opportunity, depending what building you're in, to go and visit athletic programs and performing arts programs and get kids signed up as early as possible to get involved. I want to give a shout out to Oakcrest Junior Zoe Correa Gonzalez. She was recognized by the Atlanta County Prosecutor's Office for her artwork. She was one of 3 students from across Atlanta County who was recognized and received a gift card. So she was actually selected by the prosecutor's office for her submission. I want to take a couple minutes now and touch on kind of a little bit of what Brian asked. As we are, as Tom and I have shared with you, we've kept you in the loop as we are dealing with the insurance increases. This is not a Greater A conversation. It's not a South Jersey conversation. The insurance industry this year, or I should say the insurance costs this year, are hitting districts, whether you are rural with 320 kids or, you are a 15,000 K through 12 operating 4 middle schools and 3 high schools. To give you some idea, there's another district in Atlantic County that had an increase of over $4 million in state aid, and they're eliminating 29 jobs. And that is entirely due to insurance costs. As Tom mentioned, across the state, the most common numbers heard fall between 21 and 28 or 29% on the health insurance side. It's an issue. You all know I sit on the state legislative organization for my group, NJASA. And it's a conversation that we are starting. We've created a subcommittee specifically to request to sit down with some legislators and make sure there is an understanding of what utility costs and insurance costs are doing to us, because we can't negotiate that. We can negotiate at some point salaries and benefits. And if this plays out over the next few years, you're going to see a dramatic increase in class size, because there's going to be no other way than to reduce staff. And that ultimately will lead to an increase in class size. So if anybody has relationships with legislators, we need them to understand that the rising utility and insurance costs are going to hamstring every district in the state. To give it a little more context, the Department of Ed, as there was an increase in state aid this year, and the Department of Ed put all their bulletins out, it was, blow up the balloons, get out the kazoos, look at how much we increased state aid. But 2/3 of the districts across the state of New Jersey are reducing staff in a year when 2/3 of the district got an increase in state aid. So that tells you, if you know your budget, specifically that costs are accelerating faster than the state aid. So this is a very real conversation. As I said, I'm also going to, one of the side cars to this conversation, for lack of a better way to say it, is the conversation now of consolidation or regionalization or shared services comes back up. There is some benefit to that, but not enough of a benefit to compensate if our expenses continue to accelerate at the rate they are accelerating. And right now, the way the legislation or regionalization, then you would need it to pass within every single district. And I don't know how many districts or boards are going to be willing to talk about surrendering their local control. So this is a conversation that's going on in my organization. This is a conversation that's going on with PSA, which is Principals and Supervisors Association. My understanding is it's also a conversation with SBA, with School Boards Association. Although all three entities don't always align in things, I think this is an area where all three of them realize that accelerating costs are going to impact the delivery of instruction over the next number of years. I am very vocal, and I just want the board to know some of the positions that I take, because when I speak on a screen, it says James Reyna, Superintendent, Greater Lake Harbor Regional High School District. One of the things I'm concerned about is the idea that they keep coming back to, and we need to look at the school funding formula. But one of the things that I always point out is when people talk about this is what the formula should be, there's over 600 districts in the state of New Jersey, from 350 kids to 35,000 kids. The idea that one formula is going to work for all of us is preposterous at its onset. And that is kind of an argument that I usually bring to this conversation. Real quick, I just looked up something today because it was triggered, it was bouncing around my head. Give you one real quick example. Atlantic County is 555 square miles, and we have 24 operating school districts. Bergen County is 223 square miles, so less than half. And they have 76 operating school districts. And the wealth within the average district in Bergen County and the wealth within the average district in Atlantic County is nowhere near each other. So even if we do have a conversation about school funding, if it doesn't allot for the significant differences that exist across our state, somebody is always going to be on the wrong side of this conversation. And that's why, again, some of us are starting to shift this idea to what can we do to get some of the legislators or some of the legislature on board with us realizing that something needs to be done to assist with accelerating expenses. So I just share all of that so you all kind of know some of the conversations that are going on among superintendents in Atlantic County, among superintendents across the state. At our roundtable in April, and Tom could speak to the same thing, when the county DOE staff, talked about how much the increase in state aid for Atlantic County was, we let them know how many of us were cutting jobs this year, and 2/3 of the county raised our hands, even though the county saw a significant increase in state aid. So we clearly need to have these conversations moving forward. If you're involved in school boards, and I would just ask that, bring up this conversation at the state level with School Boards Association also, because there's no way that we will be able to maintain the delivery of services we are doing if we have 2 more years in a row of a 24% increase in health insurance benefits. We will be eliminating dozens of teachers in each building. It's just the math. So we need to get a handle on how to go after this, and it needs to be done between educators, NJEA, ASA, School Boards Association, and I think we really need to help Trenton hear what we are facing. Because if we continue to see even a state average of a 15% increase in health insurance in 3 years would actually play out to over a 50% increase in cost to a district, because obviously the additions are cumulative. So I just share all of that. Tom and I, Tom gets all the credit in the world for the budget and the time he puts in with everybody in this district. But over the next few years, we're going to need help. And the help is going to come in the form of awareness and open conversations about what we're facing. Tom, I don't know if there's anything you want to add based on my comments.
That covers it. It's mentioning it another couple of years at 25%. We're talking about health insurance policies for family of $70,000, $80,000. It keeps increasing at this level. It's unfathomable.
So I thank you for the time. This is our biggest challenge. Marge, give me 1 second. This is why I sit on that committee for ASA at Trenton. I think it's vitally important. that there be somebody who's willing to be loud and annoying from South Jersey, because a lot of these decisions, the power sits in Mercer County and in Burlington County and in Monmouth County and in Middlesex County and in Essex County. And that's kind of where the political center of the state lies. So we need some people from down here. And there are a couple of us now who are kind of ringing this bell. So I just want you to know, I want you to know some of the conversations that I'm having and some of the things that we're looking at.
I'd like to know why. Do you have a reason? Why are health insurance costs going up?
So part of it for us is we have a couple, as Tom mentioned, a couple of high expense cases, right? And it's kind of like what we're all seeing at the gas pump right now. When you've got a bad scenario, you ever notice the increases are immediate, but when things level off and when things start going right, it takes a year for you to get that credit back and for things to come back down. So part of that is a little bit of the business or the industry side of this. We do have a couple of high cost cases that we know, but beyond that, the increases are across the district. And I don't know, maybe the broker shared something with Tom. I'll defer to him. I feel like what I've heard for the 7 times over the last month and a half is, I know you don't want to hear this, but you guys really aren't that out of the ordinary. Everybody's looking at these types of numbers. Tom, I don't know if you got any other.
And the prescription costs are just astronomical.
Yeah.
All the commercials you see on TV, those drugs are all $5,000 to $6,000, over time. So our prescription ratios were over 150% this year. It's just the cost of the prescriptions are going way up.
I don't mean it wrong, but even if we had a couple of high-cost cases, the amount of teachers that are barely going to the doctor that we're paying more than what their medical bills would have ever been should more than compensate. I mean, it's a predatory formula when you're looking at it.
Yeah.
We're paying in case somebody gets sick, but then if somebody gets sick, we're paying in even more because somebody used the insurance that we're paying. So it really, to Marge's, it doesn't make sense.
Well, it's a for-profit industry.
Yeah.
And, the only thing I'll say, and this may come as a surprise to some of you, Tom and I actually dig into the numbers every month. Okay, what are our prescription totals for outlay compared to premium? What are our medical totals for outlay compared to premium? So we've seen that we're running in higher percentages, but even running in the higher percentages, to Tom's point earlier, 3 months ago, and I shared this with all of you in a couple of emails, the broker was saying, yeah, but where you guys started, you're going to be okay. Budget 12%. Well, now here we are looking at a bill twice that. And that's where we are. But we do monitor that every month when the numbers come in. And Tom has a couple of people on his staff that go out of their way. We are constantly reaching out. Is there anything we can do? Is there a flyer we can send out to save another, few dollars on a premium if X number of people do it? We are participating in all of those events. But unfortunately, this is, and again, it's a much smaller number, but the rate is accelerating at a similar percentage. Utilities need to be a part of this conversation also. When you're talking about 550,000 square feet of buildings, with a Lang, I don't know, forget the Chromebooks. Just what's plugged in. What do we have, 1,000 units plugged in across the district at any given time? So talk about energy, so utilities going up as part of this conversation also. And I'm sure though, as I look around the room, if you're like me, you know what your gas and electric bill has been like the last 8 or 9 months. So, I don't want to bore you with this conversation, but I want you to know, Brian asked the question earlier, and I had already had some notes that I was gonna look at this. But these are the conversations that need to be now becoming a focus within this state. So, sorry.
No, it's important, like we all feel the same way, and I'm glad that we have voices that will speak up for, not just our district, but for all the schools. My report's pretty quick tonight. Just a reminder, the next county meeting happens to be the 18th, which is our next meeting. So I know that they did reach out to the districts and find out what our schedule is for next year. So hopefully that won't, I don't remember it ever happening before, but because that's usually the one where people are, being recognized for things. So hopefully that won't happen again next year or in the future. And the other thing is just, I know it's a busy time of year. I was talking to a couple of students that were here earlier saying, I know it's like prom time, sports are busy, there's testing, there's a lot of performing arts going on, it's just a busy time of year. So thank you to the staff and the students who continue to do their best every day and work hard because the end's in sight, and keep doing the good work. I'll move on to old business. Brian.
James, talking about the conversations you're having with regionalization, you mentioned it has to be statewide, but to me, I would think that they would consider doing almost like a pilot program, seeing how it can work before they push it to the whole state. Reason why I'm asking, here in the southern part of the state, you have perfect scenarios with mainland, Greater Egg Harbor, Middle Township, down in Cape May County, where it would be a perfect fit to make this work and show the rest of the state it can be done, and the savings that can be done by it.
So just to be clear, it's not a statewide vote. It's all of the districts in whatever entity would be looking to come together.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Would have to vote affirm.
So it wouldn't have to be every regional school district in the state agreeing to it.
No, consolidation could occur for the models you just mentioned if every district were to vote, every community were to vote individually in the affirmative. It's not a summative vote across the totality of the district. It is each individual district affirming. And there's, that's, to be clear, and this is my opinion, that's not the financial solution to all of this. The pay scale that would be adopted would be the highest of the 5 or 6 pay scales that's involved. So there's some increased costs over the first 4 to 5 years as you're getting people up to the most expensive pay scale. To me, the regionalization and the consolidation conversation, God, and I think we talked about this in my interview 5 years ago. Yeah. To me, if we're going to advance that conversation, the part of the conversation that needs to also be a part of that is embedding math across 13 years. The ability to maybe build out more athletics and activities in the middle school level that funnel more directly into high school programming. The ability for data to more seamlessly transfer across schools and districts. So the only reason why I kind of brought that in is because you can't have the conversation about expenses without somebody saying, well, the solution is, and I'll speak freely and frankly, I think I've earned it. Oh, well, the solution is consolidated. Instead of 5 superintendents, you'll have 1. Look at how much money we save. Paying 1 of us instead of 5 of us when you're talking about $400 million of combined budget, that's not the reason to do it. The reason to do it is all those other things, right? That benefit students and benefit staff along the ways. But inherently, when you have a conversation about accelerating expenses, the conversation of regionalization comes back into light. And I look around the room and it's Tom and it's Carol and it's Lois and it's Marge. In 2010, as Chris Christie was grabbing everybody's accounts, he was also saying, and his commissioner of ed was saying, okay, well, let's identify the super districts across the state. And we were identified. There's a 4-inch folder or binder somewhere in our safe, and all the data is different 15 years later. But my point is, every time the waves come for expenses, that's one of the first answers back. That's not the singular solution to this.
And that was going to be my point. So I was hoping the conversation isn't just about money.
It should.
It should be about the education that we're going to be able to provide a student that is now pre-K through 12 instead of just a regional. And we talk about it every year when we have our assessments. You know, we're not getting that student in here that we've had all the time. We're getting that ninth grader that's maybe not on the same, standard that we are, So, I mean, to me, it just makes more sense beyond the money,
It does. I will also say, and again, I'll kind of point to, to Carolyn, Marge, and Lois and Tom, and you're getting to that point too, Brian, in terms of the experience. When I say we have better communication with our constituent and sending districts than we've had in my 25 years in this district. The principals, Davies and Oakcrest, since we're sitting here, Mike Manning, do we go 2 weeks without somebody from us being in their building or somebody from them being here?
No.
So their shared PD. I mean, we're working this as well as we can, and I thank the superintendents for the relationships that we have right now. We share PD. We run this Penn State program that, the PD for teachers. We're going to invite 1 or 2 teachers from all of our constituent districts to join us for that next year. It's just a piece of a greater conversation. And I guess now I'm officially old because I'm becoming a little cranky. But
What else is new?
We can't think that in 2026, in our current economy and structure, what worked 25 years ago is going to work today. It's time to reevaluate. And I think, to be candid, we missed a little bit of an opportunity coming out of COVID to really make significant and substantial changes to K-12 education. We made some modifications. We didn't do what we could have done, I think, when we had the opportunity to be true.
Any other sorry, Carrie, go ahead.
If I can, I wanted to shed a little bit more light on what Marge was asking about, why the benefits are so expensive. I'll try to give a short version. But I'm a pharmacist by trade, so is my husband. And there's definitely a big shift going on in the insurance world because the pharmacy benefit manager, or the PBM, is what controls the cost. So you get one of these high dollar drugs and you're going to go to the pharmacy and they're going to say, oh, you have to use my specialty pharmacy that they own. And they're going to get a rebate. And that's why all these costs are going up. The shift that's going on nationwide, and hopefully it takes off because it's a huge cost savings, is that entities that are large enough are going to be self-insured, like American Airlines. They insure themselves. So they put, whatever dollar amount they think is going to cost them for the year that their broker tells them, and then they have a stopgap above that number. So, they end up with 10 people that have the high dollar drugs, the stopgap kicks in. But what they're doing, those companies, instead of paying a PBM, they're paying a separate entity who's carving out those high dollar drugs, and they source them elsewhere. Israel, Switzerland, Canada, and they can save 30 to 40% on all those drugs. So it's shifting because people are realizing that you can't keep going. I mean, you can't look at the same exact drug here in the United States and look at the same drug in Israel and it be half the price. But that's what's happening. Yeah. So it's shifting. I don't know if it'll ever get to the point where these entities can work with the current PBMs because they're not going to want to share their money. It's probably going to have to become all self-insured. But I think in the next 10 years, most of the big entities are going to have to go that way. They're going to self-insure. They're going to put in their budget, okay, our 14 million lives require X amount of dollars. And above that, this stopgap coverage is going to say, you have to use this company to save the money and carve them out.
Thank you for that. And I know you and I talked a little bit, and just so everybody knows, and really it was 2 expenses for the whole year. And I guess, Tom, there was a 3rd expense earlier, but that prevented us from getting a stopgap, right? That prevented us from our broker being able to find a stopgap who would write us. We did look at self-insuring, and we're hoping in the future that might be a step we're able to take because there is an evolution there. And, Carrie, I appreciate when you reached out, I'm sure Tom and I will come back to you over time as this goes on.
I think a
Thank
lot of the unions and, firefighters, everybody's gonna have to start shifting that direction.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Any other old business? I'll move to new business. Okay, this time I'll open the meeting up to the public. Anyone wish to speak on any matter? Okay, seeing none, do we have a resolution for executive session?
Pursuant to Section 780 of the Open Public Meeting Act, the following subjects will be discussed at the session of the Board of Education closing of public contracts. Anticipate that the items mentioned in the resolution can be disclosed to the public when the decision is made upon the same, and in the case of personnel issues, when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Formal action at the conclusion of this executive session may be taken.
New motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Those abstaining? So moved.
Okay, quick break.
Are there any extras of these pictures? Is there an extra one of these? Excuse me, do you have one?
Yeah, tune out the.
Could I take that?
You want to take Daryl?
See this kid?
But now, 14 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah, absolutely. They just started at 42.
Did man reach out today about that fishing?
Yeah, that's ours.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's ours.
Don't be doing things like that.
No, so they do it for us.
I know, that's.
But it's the one that she said, right? Because there were
Yeah,
real ones out
you missed open enrollment, and
Yeah.
you don't have health insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you can send it to your place of fire.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.